I'm Relitza Vasilova at the CNN Center. There are reports coming out of Libya that the city of Benghazi has fallen in the hands of protesters there. Our Fionnuala Sweeney is monitoring the situation for us from Cairo in neighboring Egypt. Fionnuala, what are you hearing?
What we're hearing is that the military camp in Benghazi, which had been the focus of a lot of the violence there today, has been overrun by protesters. They are now reportedly handing out ammunition and guns and food to the people of Benghazi, and the city is said to be relatively quiet, albeit for the sounds of celebration. We should, of course, couch, as we always do, that these reports are actually not our reports. They're eyewitness reports that we are gathering from around the city and indeed the rest of the country. But if this is true and Benghazi has fallen, this would pose a very serious, credible threat to Colonel Gaddafi. Earlier we heard from a protester who described the scene and his experiences on the streets in Benghazi a while back.
Benghazi is free from the tyrant. It's the end of his regime here in the eastern sector of the country. His military compound, which was the sign of his dominance, was breached today by a commando brigade that turned with the people against Gaddafi. And his mercenaries were captured, some of them were killed. And the eastern sector of Libya is free. We were talking about Benghazi, Bayda, Tobruk, Shahat, and Darna. And there's strong, very strong reports now that Tripoli's finally realized what an accomplishment Benghazi's accomplished, and they've decided to join in. And hopefully soon the whole country will be free of him.
There are reports that Saif Gaddafi, the son of Colonel Gaddafi, will speak on Libyan state television later this evening. This news emerged before we heard of the alleged fall of Benghazi. But certainly if this is true, then it means that this and the other cities where there have been violence over recent days, that the eastern sector is indeed in the hand of the demonstrators. It will have very serious implications for the regime that has been known to Libya and every Libyan for the last 42 years.
And Fionnuala, certainly this is a very crucial development. However, analysts say that it is also up to whether Tripoli, to see, in this protester we heard was saying that it could be spreading to Tripoli, and that would create an even bigger danger.
Well, we have had reports, again I have to stress, albeit unconfirmed, that Tripoli was in a kind of a lockdown throughout the day. People were afraid to go out on the streets. Barriers were being erected in the capital square known as Green Square. We are hearing, and I've heard over the last few nights, of intermittent reports of clashes in some parts of the city, but it remains to be seen whether or not the security forces will hold on. This is the heartland of Colonel Gaddafi. It is his stronghold, and it has always been the suggestion of analysts and experts in this country that what would need to happen for the regime to be overthrown is that other towns in the west of the country would have to fall. The eastern sector of Tripoli, particularly Benghazi, has always been troublesome back since the early 1970s for Colonel Gaddafi, and it is perhaps expected that it would be the first city to fall. It is, however, we have to say, very cautious news that we're reporting at the moment, but from what we're hearing, all indications are now that Benghazi is in the hand of the demonstrators.
All right, Fionnuala Sweeney monitoring the situation in Libya from neighboring Egypt. CNN has not been allowed access and visas despite repeated requests to go to the country to report from there. These are fast-moving developments on the ground in Libya. Stay with CNN for the very latest. I'm Relitza Vasilova.